Everyone, welcome. We are trying this again. I am Andrea Bennett, Ms. NovaCosmo 2025, actually Ms. Elite NovaCosmo 2025, Elite. And we're gonna see if we can get this live going with Kween. We had some technology issues, but let's see what we can do here. Just one moment. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Hi, nice to see you. Oh my goodness, I'm here in Minnesota. And let's see, we have, all right. See this? Okay. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your patience. Did we get it? Oh,
We got it.
Look
Look
at
at that. Amazing.
Thank you for whoever made that request. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, is Royal on here? And is oh, not yet, but they will be, and we'll thank them.
Fantastic. Okay, we do what we do, right? We
We do
pivot,
too.
we make it work.
Isn't that like such an example of pageantry is learning how to pivot and be on your toes even in those moments of stress and try to figure something out?
Oh, I tell you, that's been my journey for the last 25 years in pageantry, and definitely in Sri Lanka. So yeah, and I know we'll get into that, but it's all about having patience and pivoting, because sometimes, there's plenty of things out of our control. So thank you everyone who's joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. And when we're done this live, if you can just hit the download button before you share, that would be great.
This is my first live ever, just so you
Oh,
know.
it's exciting.
We're on
That is so
Instagram.
exciting. I'm going to clean my screen. I'm really excited. We're going to make this lots of fun and just easy. I think what's so brilliant about lives is although they're like live, there is the opportunity to just have fun and also just like get to meet each other because I didn't get the honor of meeting you. And we should introduce you, our Elite NovaCosmo 2025.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here with you. Thanks for having me. And like you said, I'm your Elite NovaCosmo 2025. And I'm just so excited for this journey. It's been a couple months now, as you've heard from some of our sister queens already, and everybody will get the chance to meet the rest of our sister queens, but there are 4 of us, and I'm so proud and honored to be one of your ladies. I'm here in Minnesota in the United States. I represented North America,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to chat a little bit more.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. Congrats on your achievements. I'm really excited for the growth of the Nova Cosmo family and you to be part of this. Like, it's been truly an honor just watching you over these last 3 months, which is what I was saying to Jaya the other day, is just like being able to, even if it is on social media, it is a way to kind of connect with those who might not be next door to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's the beauty of social media, is that, there's so many people worldwide that we get a chance to meet. So that is one of my favorite parts about being in pageantry. Is once upon a time we used to have to do things in person, but now we have the opportunity to reach a larger audience. So it's exciting.
Yes, it's so very exciting. I think, as we get into it, I think the first thing I want to know, because I didn't get to be there in person, is I'm curious how you felt when you heard your name announced on stage.
Oh my goodness. So I was just watching, I tell you, I watched this video about a jillion times. And each time I feel the same. There was so much going through my mind. Of course, all of us are exhausted. We've been standing there for, it seems like hours.
It is.
We're on stage. Our legs are hurting. Every single muscle in our body is hurting. Our brains are ready to shut off. It's an exhausting journey. And I was just thrilled. I heard North America and I lost it. Like, you can't really see it in the video, but I was crying. Inconsolable.
Yeah, truly.
Because it had been such a long journey, and I've held this vision, this dream, for over 25 years. And then, of course, a week before I left for Sri Lanka, my grandmother, who is 100 years old, had just passed away. So I was deep in grief. Deep in grief. We were exhausted. It's been a long journey, and I was just I felt relief, excitement, everything under the sun that you can imagine.
Yeah,
So great.
so many emotions. And I believe I saw a post with you giving credit to the Queen Centurion of the time.
Yes, she is my matriarch. She was our family matriarch. Her name was Lola Mae Bennett. And she was just an extraordinary woman with a large legacy and shoes to
Mm.
fill. And while she had her own legacy, I'm so grateful and honored to be her granddaughter. And of course, I have my legacy. So this is kind of like the middle of that journey. And now that she's just here with me in spirit, and I feel her every day. I felt her throughout this journey. But now it's my turn, right? It's my
Yeah.
and I kind of looked at it as, a new queen has risen. We've laid my queen, one of my favorite
Yes.
queens, to rest. Because after I got back from Sri Lanka, I had a couple days rest, and then I had to hop on the road to lay my grandmother to rest in Ohio.
Wow.
So, it's just kind of, you take it step by step, and I'm so grateful to continue this journey and my legacy as a
Yes.
Nova Cosmo queen.
And such a legacy you're building. I'm curious a little bit on like what inspired you to enter into the pageant world.
Oh my goodness. So if we go back just a little bit, I was 9 years old and I entered my first pageant. I didn't take it seriously because, what 9-year-old is in Minnesota is taking pageantry seriously. But what I did learn was a lot of these ladies they had a drive, and I caught the pageant bug. So even though
Mm.
I didn't take the pageant seriously. I took a little break, and then at 19 years old, I'm in college. I'm taking some women's studies classes, and I thought, what is something that feminism or people question? And I thought pageantry as a research participant would be a really interesting thing to do. So again, I entered a pageant. And again, I still didn't take myself seriously. It was more, I'm going to research here. But
Yeah.
it was the same thing. These ladies had a drive, they had a purpose, they were serving their communities, they had a message to share. And finally, I realized, if I'm going to take this seriously, I might want to hire a coach. I might want to learn
Yes.
the ins and outs of pageantry. I, I definitely have a story to tell. I'm a survivor of narcissistic abuse, of domestic abuse, and that happens to be in my family cycle. And so I have carried that message for 25 plus years that I want to spread hope, love, and light to survivors and really get that
Mm.
awareness out there that domestic violence doesn't always look one particular way. It could be a queen that she thought she broke the cycle and then somehow enters another relationship and it looks totally different. So it's so
Totally.
important to have these conversations, and that's why I joined, is that I feel like pageantry is a really great vehicle to be able to spread your message. People see this crown and sash and they're like, "What's going on there? Like, what are you doing?" So it's a great conversation starter.
It is a great conversation starter. It's definitely one
Right.
of the most power ones. And I think you brought something up that's so important around domestic violence, DV, SA, any of these kinds of things that we experience within any community. I think, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure in my memory, it's 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men are in those violent situations. And more often it is happening at home that people agree, are aware of or talk
Yeah.
about. So being
Yeah.
able to use this platform to inspire others, but then also like I think this actually gives space for a lot of healing for so many of us of our traumas to be able to speak up and help others.
Yes, all of that. And you're right, the numbers. So we can do as much research as we can, but the truth is that there's a lot of people that are not coming forward, and there's a lot of misunderstanding and there's just a lot of misunderstandings surrounding domestic violence. What exactly is it? Is it only intimate partner relationships? But when I think of domestic violence, it's anything surrounding the home. That could be intimate partner relationships. That could be anything that happens in the home. It could be between family members.
Absolutely.
So it is just so important because at some point in time, you're either going to know somebody that has struggled through
Mm.
domestic violence, or you're going to go through it yourself. So since we're coming in contact with it so often, whether it be in the home or in the workplace, when it comes to narcissistic abuse, everybody is going to experience a narcissistic abuser at some point in their life. So that is more what I'm focused on, to show the how large of a scale and how problematic it is, and that we can in fact eliminate it. There are plenty of societies and cultures that it does not exist. And so we all need to do our part, have these conversations, and that way we can go from victims to victors. And at some point, those numbers will change, and we'll have a lot healthier communities and relationships, period.
Totally. Today I was just doing anti-oppression training for a group of folks at one of our universities here. And often I talk about you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think we've
Oh,
heard that.
yes. Mm,
Yeah, it's one of those things, I think, just in everyday life, not just oppression, anti-oppression training. Like this does apply in so many spaces and places and things that you might go through and it kind of sometimes also creates magic. Like sometimes you fall in love with a pageant industry you never thought you would, right? And you
yes.
start to see growth in yourself that you might have not before, or challenge yourself or challenge others in ways that need to happen.
Exactly. And that brings up a great point, is that I am firm when it comes to courage over comfort. And I really want to inspire people to take the path of courageous over comfort, because you're right. All the magic happens in those spaces. You grow, there's hope. It keeps hope alive and love alive. And I feel like we need more of that in the world.
You need so much love right
So much.
now.
Bring it
We
on.
need so much. And you talked about it a little bit. Would you say your platform surrounds domestic violence and kind of speaking up for others?
Yes, it's called Love is Not Abuse, Be the
Mm.
Light, right? So I really want people to understand that love really is not abuse, and that you can be a light and you can hold hope when it comes to your own healing journey. It has to start with you. And then if you're courageous enough to, or if you choose to speak about your experiences, because we know what we went through, if you choose to speak about your experiences and dive deeper into them, like I
Mm.
have chosen, that hopefully it will help other people give themselves the permission to do the same. And it might look totally different. Your healing journey might look completely different than mine, but it's so important to just start, because we really do deserve healthy relationships.
Yeah, that's it. And I think, one of these shows I was watching, there's an episode where two friends are having conflict and they're like besties, best besties. And one of the girls says, you know what? I'm gonna bring my friend to therapy with me. And I said,
Hey,
that's genius.
it's
Oh my
genius.
gosh, that's so genius because often we're, family therapy, relationship therapy, but some of our most like important, valuable relationships are our friendships. And we are not expected in life to agree every step of the way. We're not expected in life to always be in perfect positions to deal with a solution, right? And so I
Right.
thought that was a really interesting, and it really helped them figure out the language between each other to understand each other. And I think someone put in here, it's like giving the power back to each person, and it can
Yes.
do that.
Yes, that is my friend Lee. He's here in Minnesota. He's one of my greatest supporters. Thank you for being here. And that's the thing too, is that we have our village, and I call them, my village, my hope warriors. There's a lot of people that are behind us in our life. And then when it comes to pageantry, it takes a village to raise a queen and support a queen. Like, I do not do this alone. As you know, you do not do it alone. We have a whole team, a queendom, people that support us along this journey. And I feel like that is just so powerful, because we don't have to do it on our own. We can learn tools. We can put those tools in our invisible life toolbox, and we can carry them along with us, use them along the way, and then pass them on to others as well. So yeah, it's such a great thing. Therapy, group therapy, individual therapy, please do it. Please invest in yourself.
Yesterday, 2 days ago with the other queen, we were talking about nature therapy and how important it is to get outside. And especially
Yeah.
during this season, the snow, the cold, it's just can be such a drag. But
Seasonal depression. Yes.
yeah, but having these open conversations and starting to I think it starts to make the uncomfortable spaces more comfortable when we all have these open discussions. Like it doesn't actually have to be, some things are uncomfortable no matter what, but some of this work doesn't have to be so bad if we just start having a conversation. And like you said, getting resourced. I think so many folks would feel stronger in their workplace, stronger in their platform, stronger in moving and on with whatever in life if they were just better resourced in
Yes.
their toolkit.
Yes, and that can be, we can get so creative with it. Like you said, there's nature therapy. I love music, right? Music is one of my therapies. Sing in the car, like maybe have a music therapist. I don't know, whatever it is for you that you feel like you need so that whatever rejuvenation you need from just doing everyday life allows you to fill your cup.
Mm, perfect time for me to pull my cup.
Yes,
This is
perfect.
my lemon, ginger, cayenne pepper mixture of sorts that I like to put into
Yummy.
my body. A little turmeric.
Yum. Yum. I just had
It's
some turmeric too. Yep.
so good for the body.
Oh,
Uh,
it's
you know, uh, Everything you've been talking about in terms of your platform, in terms of building your community, I'm sure your community has been so extremely proud of the work that you're doing. And it's a lot of work, but what has been the most memorable part so far? Whether that's maybe something you want to pick out of your week at internationals or even just from internationals to now. What are some moments that have really stood out for you?
so I will say that, okay, so country costume was one of those things that it didn't necessarily catch me by surprise, but the power of the idea behind my country costume, which is a golden eagle, and throughout North America we have golden eagles. And when I think of eagles, I think of regal, I think of free, and of course along my journey I talk a lot about freedom of just being autonomous and being free from domestic violence and having those healthy relationships. So it was a really healthy, beautiful way to display my platform on stage. Now I had this golden eagle on, and like I said, I felt like my grandmother was with me in spirit. I truly felt like she was there with me on stage, flying with me. It
Of
was
course.
so powerful. My grandmother hated to fly. So before I left, I said, Grandma, that's okay. I know, if you could fly, if you could hop on that plane and fly with me, you absolutely would. So I got the idea to name this golden eagle Lola after my grandmother. And so
Wow.
she literally did fly with me on stage. So that was really powerful. And then more recently, so that was, there's a lot of wonderful experiences that we had throughout the week. But the other thing that hopped into my mind too was that sometimes when it comes to my platform, it can look very different in how the healing looks. And so I got news that one of my girlfriends was homeless due to domestic violence. And that could happen at any point. It could happen to any one of us, right? And so she was going through that. She was unhoused. She was going to be living in her car. It's too cold in Minnesota, just like it is in Canada. And so I reached out to my Hope Warriors. I call them my Hope Warriors, my village. And I asked them, would you be willing to donate whatever amount feels good to you to help house our friend here? And so that was really powerful. We raised a few $1,000s. It kept her housed for a couple weeks until she was able to transition into something a little bit more long term. But it's things like that that might come up along the way.
So special. I think first off, your grandmother would be beyond proud, and I'm sure she was so proud up into her earth living moments. And I
Yes, she
think
was.
there's actually something so, like, can I say it, devilish about it? Like, she
Yes,
said, I'm gonna be there with you no matter
yes.
what.
That's hilarious that you said that. That is absolutely hilarious because I thought the same thing. I was like, okay, it's between Thanksgiving and Christmas. My
Yeah.
family celebrates Christmas, and you can see my Christmas tree in the background. My grandma was a Christmas baby, and she was like, I mean, she was one of these people, she likes to make choices, right? And she
Mm.
makes a choice, she commits to it. So she checked out of Earth life. She hopped into the, heaven realm or whatever you want to call it. And like you said, she came with me all right. And there were many signs along the way. People can ask me if they want, they could, after the live, if you want to ask me more about that, feel free to. But she definitely showed up and showed out.
I It's so powerful. And I truly believe in like, if your gut and your heart felt that that sign was what that sign was to you.
Oh yeah.
I know, like, people after someone passes, they're like, I saw a butterfly, I saw a bird. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
if it
A
felt
cardinal.
like someone, it was someone. Like,
Yes.
don't let yourself be pushed away from what our intuition and our spirit
Yeah.
so often tells us. It's just one of the six senses, I believe, is ignored often, is that intuition piece. And I
Yes.
think you spoke of something so beautiful, and that is the act of community. So today we actually did a practice where we used yarn and people were talking about their identities in an intersectional way. And everyone would throw the yarn to different people. And
Oh,
it allows people to see the web and what happens when we have community. We're stronger together. What
yes.
happens when the yarn moves? What happens if we all drop it? And I really think that your group of hope warriors is the yarn that just
They
so
are.
effortlessly
They are. It is the
impacts. Yeah.
web of connection. It is truly, we're so connected, and I just wish that more people could see that. For those that feel alone, that's another thing that I want to encourage people to consider in their life as they're looking at our journeys, whether they value them or not. We're so valuable in so many different ways, and I encourage people to just look at the people around them. If they don't have a lot of people around them, maybe we're part of your community. Maybe you're meant to connect with us, right? For whatever reason. There's a reason why you're reaching out to us. Maybe you're going through your healing journey. Maybe you just are wondering what pageantry is all about. Do you want to take your journey to Bali, which is where our next pageant will be in November? I don't know, but I've met so many wonderful souls along the way, and I'm grateful for every single one of them.
Yeah. Pageant weeks are my most exciting as a choreographer. I get the pleasure to do 4 national ones and 3 international, where I get to spend
What?
so much time with beautiful women and women identifying folks. And just like there is so much passion and so much drive. I originally ran for Miss Canada because I was going through a sexual assault and I didn't know where else to go that felt at that time I was like a baby. I was like 15 and I just didn't know what else to do or where to go. And I remember that first day of the pageant, we did one of those like circles where everyone just talked about what brought them there, what they were going through. And suddenly it was like this kind of trauma bonded circle where
Yes.
we all realized that we've gone through grief, we've gone through success, we've gone through downfalls, we've gone through, the uphill battles. And you just found yourself in someone else so
Yes.
easily.
Yes, you're so right. Every single pageant that I go to, I find my people. I just know it. I know from the core of who I am that I'm going to find my people, and you might not
Yes,
connect with every single one of your sister queens. They might not be your favorite people, they truly might not be. That's okay. Let's focus on our people. I had a beautiful connection with so many of my sister queens, and I treasure it so much, sitting with them on the bus to go to the Indian Ocean, um, sitting there and practice. And I would just look over at my sister queens and think, we're only going to be here for this many days. I'm going to, like, you just want to drink it all in
yes,
and take them back with you and put them in your pocket. Like, I just
yes.
had a conversation with Olive, who was Miss Germany, and it was a couple days ago. And I was like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm in the United States right now. And so it's just, it's such a beautiful thing. Like after the pageant, you have these wonderful women that you can reconnect with and look back on the journey and then, cultivate your relationship moving forward if you choose to. So I'm just so grateful for all of it.
Yeah, it's such a I don't even want to say it's a bonus. It's actually like the winning factor about
It
pageantry to
is.
me. And
It's
the
the best
crown and the
part.
sash is the bonus.
It is
Yeah.
the best part. Like people
Yeah.
like, no, you're just saying that. I'm like, no, this is
Mm.
lovely. It's lovely. I kid you not. But my sister queens are the very best part. Our pageant family is the very best part. That is the thing that I always take with me.
Yeah. And I think for so many, they see like so many of our pageants with their live competition, right? They only see the live competition,
Oh
the
yeah.
let alone the weeks or even the year we spent maybe like online in workshops, but the week we are together, I like to say it's like being in like a musical theater show. You're like stuck with these people for a whole bunch of time learning a new show. You put on the show and then it's done and you're all
It's done.
gone.
it feels like it goes so fast too.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
so, and you know what? I see Lee is saying, and they find you because of your light. I so agree that with the energy that you put out is it's like this boomerang, like it comes back.
Mhm.
We have to discern what is coming back to us. You know, we might not want everything that's coming back to us because if you are a person that purposefully radiates your light, then there's all kinds of things that are attracted to light, including
Yep.
the things we don't necessarily want. So I
Yep.
have to be discerning, as I'm sure
Yeah.
there's just so many people that we meet with everything that we do have to have that discernment. I think it's so important, and to have boundaries, healthy boundaries, but to not
Mhm.
shine that light either.
Totally. And I think you've talked about something really important, which is like the lessons that we get to learn through pageantry. And what has been the biggest lesson for you through this?
I'm braver than I think I am.
Mm.
Every single time I thought, I think, oh, I'm brave. I've escaped all kinds of wild, wild circumstances, including escaping my ex narcissistic abuser monster husband. That was wild. And then I experienced abuse from the community. So it took a lot of courage and bravery to exit that. But even along this journey, I thought, how am I going to do this in the middle of grief? Right? I just lost my grandma. How am I going to do that? How am I going to do this on such short notice? How am I going to do it? Right? I, I don't like to tell myself what I can't do. I ask myself what's possible and what can I do. So once I started focusing on what's possible, like we talked about earlier, the universe is so creative with the
Yes.
the solutions that come to you. And so I was surrounded by love and light with my community and all my hope warriors, and they helped me with my expenses, right, to make sure I got that plane ticket. And I really needed, I kid you not, I needed miracles upon miracles to make this happen. And so, but along the way, I learned how brave I could be if I just committed and made the decision to just take the journey and don't turn back. And then I'm capable of anything that I meet along the way because I'm not doing it alone. We're doing it in community. So, yeah,
Mm.
I'm much braver than I think I am.
And I think, as you speak, sometimes like the biggest bravery or courage is taking a chance by asking for help. It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
wild that humans are so bad at this. Um, but we're not great at asking for help when it's needed. And courage always has started by showing up and letting ourselves be seen. And
Yes.
that is okay. And that being seen doesn't have to be this like perfect Instagram reflection, shall I say? Let's use that as the example of who you are. I think courage for me is actually like a really big compliment to the fear that's really inside my body.
You're killing me right now. This is so true. Like we have to show up, right? Nobody's going to do it for us.
Yeah.
So and my thing is that if we want not necessarily a big reward, but if we want this beautiful exciting life, we're going to have to take some chances, and it's going to
Mhm.
do something different than what we've done before. And so that's part of the learning and growth as well. And I'm grateful that, like you said, things don't have to be perfect, and they definitely were not perfect. I learned how to ask for help. I learned how to be gracious in my thank yous. Because there's nothing that I can do honestly to pay back how much people have given me. I'm just so grateful.
Mhm.
So I I do my best to continue to make myself proud, number one, and to hopefully make my village proud as well. And like you said, my grandmother too. I know my grandmother was proud of me. She told me, um, and there's a lot of things that I got to do that she was not able to do. So that was part of her being proud of me, is that I was taking these chances in a different way than she gave herself permission to do.
Yeah. And I can only imagine being 100, what she's experienced in terms of like racial disparity, in terms of
Oh,
oppression, in terms of harm, in terms of the
oh,
feminist movement, like
yeah, all of it.
just, yeah.
And as a Black woman in America with the history of America, right? I mean, we're talking some of our family was enslaved. And so my grandmother was barely like out of that time. And she was barely able to vote, right? Like she was well into her 40s when she was able to vote. And here I am at 45, soon to be 46 years old. I've been voting since I was 18. So we had a very different life path. And it's so important to not take that for granted, where our ancestors came from, the journey that they took, to be grateful that we're standing on their shoulders, and then to make
Mhm.
sure that we're doing our part as well, because we can't take it for granted.
Yeah, and I always say to my best people who talk about their ancestry, I say, you are on the shoulders of giants who are on the shoulders of giants. Like
Yes,
it doesn't stop at your grandmother. It goes to your great 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 great
yes,
great great
yes,
great great, right?
yes,
Giants upon giants, and now you get to live some of the maybe stories that they weren't um, given access to. And I think that that's so
yes,
powerful. I do want to go back to something else that you had said, which was your bravery coming out of a narcissistic, abusive relationship. Like I said, it's something we do need to be talking about more, but I'm curious for those who are going to be watching this now or even a little later on about how we understand or how do we spot what that abuse is, and then how do we use that awareness to move forward?
yes. So narcissistic abuse is particularly diabolical. Like I tell people, it is pure evil. Like it is like the depths of domestic violence. So it's important to understand that there's such different levels of domestic violence, right? Like it's not always physical abuse. It might be emotional abuse. It might be deep manipulation, psychological
Mhm.
abuse. There's just so many different types. So number one, I tell people to just really educate yourself. Listen to people's stories, look at some of the resources. I have many different, or there's wonderful organizations all over the world that are doing this really important work and helping to spread awareness. But two of the organizations that I really like to share resources from um, are Stand Up Survivor and Violence Free Minnesota. There are many, many more, but those are two organizations that I think have some really great information in how to be able to spot it. And then the other thing is, we all have our own intuition. We all have some type of idea what a healthy relationship will look like. And we have to ask ourselves, does this seem like it's a healthy relationship? Do I feel supported
Mhm.
in this relationship? Is this person putting me down? Is this
Yeah.
person supportive of, the things that I want to do in my life? Um, do we feel like we have healthy conversations? Or do I feel like I'm often silenced or criticized? So yeah, for me, I think spotting it was, I had had so much training on what dating violence and domestic violence look like, but when it comes to your own life and it looks a little bit different than what you've had described to you,
Totally.
it can really mess up your thoughts. Like it can mess
Mhm.
up and rewire your brain, right? So that's essentially what some of my unhealthy relationships did, is they went in and rewired my alarm system. So that's another thing I would tell people. If you feel like in your heart of hearts and with your intuition that someone is rewiring your alarm system that keeps you safe, that could be domestic abuse, right? That could be
Sure.
narcissistic abuse. Um, yeah, it's just, there's so many possibilities beyond
Mm.
physical abuse. And I really want people to understand that it comes down to just understanding the different types of abuse.
Yeah, and then sometimes you're not even aware. I had a friend at one point when I was in a abusive relationship say to me, "Would you let one of your friends date this guy?" And I said, "Hmm,
Hmm.
hmm,
Hmm.
interesting." Because I am a type of person that tends to lean on like what I'm doing for others as opposed to thinking about myself. And I'm learning to do this. I know it's a ever flowing, ever
Oh,
growing relationship I
oh.
have with myself. But, sometimes you do have to ask, would you allow one of your besties to go through it? Your sister, your mom, like what? and then it kind of like takes off the rose gold glasses off of,
Yes.
right? But it breaks it all down. And I think you said it right, is reaching out to those resources. And I will ensure that at some point as well in this post that we maybe tag some of those resources
Yes.
in the actual post itself so people can go back, because these organizations do exist in all like areas. So if you are looking for someone, I don't know, let's say you're where I am in Ontario, please just reach out to us. I think the goal in the pageant world at the end of the day is how we help community and help how we help others. We are not the resource, I will say, but we
Yeah.
can get you resourced. And
Yes.
so sometimes I think also understanding those levels of things, like maybe your friends don't have the money or ability, but ask them if they have time to look up some resources for you because you don't have the capacity. All those little things count for something along the journey of getting yourself in a situation that's safer. What what message would you like to share with people who are currently experiencing this type of violence?
Find somebody, anybody that you can trust to be able to talk to somebody and bounce your ideas off and say, you know, this is what I'm experiencing. A person that you trust that you do not think will go back to your abuser, you know, or your the system of abuse that you're experiencing. Because a lot of times, if it's like, say, in a family or in a community or a church
Yeah.
community or a workplace, you got to make sure that you're picking a trustworthy person. If you feel like you don't have a trustworthy person, then like we said, we have some resources that we're happy to share. And a lot of times those organizations have an on-call person, or we have a domestic violence hotline, right? And just call the number. They will help you to troubleshoot. And if you don't know what you need, sometimes it's just having somebody to listen. Whether you plan on taking the next step or not, you know what you're going through and what it's going to take to be able to get out of your situation. Sometimes it requires staying for a little while and creating a safety plan until you are able to find that window and jump out that window to safety. But that will look different for everybody.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely reaching out to these organizations, calling the domestic violence hotline. If that is in your country, in the United States, we have a domestic violence hotline. I don't know if in Canada, do you have that as well?
We also have a domestic violence hotline, but I think a lot of people feel it is oversaturated, which is
Yes.
clear that how many people need help.
Yes. And that's the thing. Do not give up. Do
Yeah.
not give up on yourself. It is going to take, it might take a while to go through the healing. It is a process. And even for me, 7+ years later, I still experience, at what we call aftershocks of the abuse.
Mhm.
It never really leaves us. We just learn how to function better, and we surround ourselves with healthy relationships
Yeah.
and good resources that we can lean on when we do have those aftershocks that show up.
Yeah. I, I remember something that was constantly said to me when I was kind of going through abusive relationship was courage is the strength to go on, right? We hear that quote a
Oof.
lot. I actually believe that courage isn't the strength to go on. It's going on despite not having the courage, or sorry, the
Ooh,
strength, despite not having it. Courage is in spite of, I'm still going to take a chance on me or my
yeah,
family or whatever that looks like.
yes.
And
I
that
choose
really,
myself.
mm-hmm.
I choose
And
myself.
we don't have to always be the strong person. I
No.
actually think
Oh,
strength looks like softness and looks like rest
yes,
too.
it does. I'm so glad that you said that because that's another thing that I want people to know is the reason why, a huge reason why I took this part of the journey was that not
Yeah.
only did my grandmother inspire me to take it, but I really felt like a soul calling. If
Mm.
A lot of times at some point in our lives, we feel a soul calling, and that might sound or feel different to different people. Some people feel the need to like go to a certain physical place, right? Like going back to your lands of ancestry. Maybe that will
Mhm.
be part of your soul calling. But mine was to share my journey a little bit deeper than what I have shared because I'm in a safer place than I was 7 years ago, right? And
Absolutely.
I'm in a better place. I'm in a more stable place emotionally. So I feel strong enough to be able to do that, right? And like you said, strength doesn't always, it's might be quiet sometimes. And so I needed time to rest. I needed to give myself permission to rest, and to have healthy boundaries. And what that looks like for me along this journey is I'm working a lot. I'm of course queening. I'm doing a lot of quiet queening. And
Yes.
my quiet queening is stuff that not a lot of people will see, right? Like asking my hope warriors for help for my girlfriend who is experiencing homelessness, right? Like we can't share that information because she's not safe to be able to share that all over social media. So I'm doing a lot more behind the scenes quiet queening, a lot more rest, and that is very healing for
Mm.
me. And I'm braver, so I am able to share my story in a different way. And last but not least, I feel like I'm in a better place to be able to start writing my book. I
Amazing.
don't care how long it takes me, whether it takes me 5 years, a year, 2 years, I don't care. I want to do it my way. And I want to be able to tell my story and have the freedom to tell it.
I really love that. I've thought to myself, I wish every year since I was like in my teen years at least, I had taken the end of the year to write about what happened so that I could keep like a catalog because I think there is something really, I think everyone should have their own autobiographies in life because it
Yes.
does give you, and it doesn't have to be like, I'm going to be top seller in New York Magazine. That's not what
No.
we're looking for. I think it's extremely important. This is something I learned from my grandmother, from folks like your grandmother, that how valued and important archiving is. We take
Yes.
for granted that we are the history that someone is looking back on in 100 years.
Yes. That part. So you're going to love this. I have journaled since I was 9 years old, and my mom's mother, so my maternal grandmother, she gave me this journal. And so I've been journaling for like 40 years.
I
So I
love
have
that.
been telling my own story. And so that's why it's like, okay, well, yeah, I have a story to tell. I might as well write a book.
Yes, absolutely.
But there's healing in that, right? So I feel like my story is about collective healing. Not only will it be healing for me, but I know what I know, what I know. And the collective is going to benefit from me telling my story.
Yeah, truly will benefit. And I think what you have to give everyone in this lifetime is so one courageous that we've talked about, but you really, and I can feel it through the screen. We haven't had the pleasure of meeting in person because I couldn't be there at internationals, but you can really feel, as someone had said, Lee, I think it was that said, like this light about you. And I'm sure that light wasn't always necessarily as strong as maybe today. Even yesterday might have not been as strong as today, but it's, I think it reminds us that like sometimes we just have to get over that hill. I like
Oh,
to call it like the Mordor mountain, like in Lord of the Rings, this like dark evil Mordor. But eventually the eagles are gonna come and save you and you'll, do these things. And so you really are an example for people to look towards, not just up to, but look towards, right? Seeing how I can see a future for myself that is brighter, that is safer, that is braver, and that comes from the leadership that you're providing for you and your community.
thank you. Thank you for that.
Mm.
It's just such, like I said, it's such an honor. I take this journey with such deep humility because I'm so
Yeah.
inspired by everybody that I come across and their bravery, and they're like the wind beneath my wings, right? So
Yeah.
I have wind beneath my wings, and but you're right, that light is not, it doesn't always feel bright, right? Like I don't always feel hopeful. There's a lot of things going on. There's that life sometimes gets to lifing, and sometimes it requires a lot of digging to be able to brighten that light a little bit. But we do have that internal eternal flame, that we just can't allow to be like stifled out.
Yeah.
Gotta keep that glowing. And so that's kind of something that I keep in mind too, is that light, we don't have to be afraid of it. That's something that I've had to learn because when I've attracted so many different things, and that wasn't my fault that I attracted
Mm.
things. It wasn't my fault that people took advantage of me, or that
Mm.
people. that's not my fault. That is not my responsibility to bear. Um, but I've learned to, protect that light and to become what I feel is needed to be able to live my life the way that I want to live.
And I think there's like value there. You can work towards building your light, right? Like I think people are
Oh,
like, but I'm just not that person. But there's ways like serving your community
yes.
will boost your light. I can almost
Oh,
promise it.
always.
Getting mentored and serving your mentorship back, depending on what comfortability you are as a person, so important. Positive language. It sounds so silly, but it does help. And I do believe, which I think this is something that you actively do, which is giving out kindness and empathy.
Oh,
Because I think in a world that we're dealing with war and genocide, we're dealing with rights being revoked, we're watching some really, really heavy, dark times happen. But what changes the frequency and the energy of the world is how much kindness we're outputting to
yes.
combat that, right? And it's so
Yes.
clear that that compassion and listening to others is something that's motivated you as well
Yes.
through the work that you do.
Yes. We have to find the helpers in the world. We have to believe that there are, they're everywhere. That's one thing that I've learned too. Everywhere that I go, I don't have, honestly, whatever country I go to, I know that I'm going to find what I call a travel companion. It just naturally happens. And I could be, on my phone, like completely distracted, whatever. And there's always something interesting, somebody interesting that I come across. And it's just such this beautiful connection. And it's everywhere that I go. So in
Yeah.
pageantry, I feel like it's magnified because you have these contributing factors that attract people to your light.
Yeah, a little extra bonus, as we
Yeah.
said. I think and I feel that Nova Cosmo is so beautiful when it comes to our like women and empowerment and quite frankly entrepreneurship. As someone who's a kind of contracted into this family in terms of choreographer and work I do, it's clear what they're trying to do for other women. Why do you think that platforms like these are important?
This platform is so important because sometimes people, they don't know where to go to
Mm,
right? Like what do I do? How do I have access to I want to publish a book. Maybe there's, how do I find a publisher? How do I find somebody that's already told their story? How do I find somebody that started a business? How do I find somebody that's in speaking? I just feel like pageantry is such a beautiful place to find so many of those incredibly successful entrepreneurs that have taken that journey and had the courage to do it.
yeah.
It's this beautiful space where we can congregate and ask for what we would like. Is there anybody that knows, a choreographer? Is there anybody that knows an MC? I'm looking for this, yada, yada, yada. So it's a beautiful space to do that and have those conversations.
It's I think like when we hear like being around like-minded people, it is actually I used to think that was too cliche for me. I said, I'm gonna be around who I want to be around, okay? But then I learned that there is value in having some of the like-minded people because it keeps you motivated and it keeps you inspired. And your life journey has been so incredibly inspiring. I'm curious what's next for you. What is your next wildest dream?
So one of my next wildest dreams is to dig deeper into my business, Queenum Collective. So that will include launching my website, and that will include
Yay!
coaching, that will include spiritual life coaching. Like there's just this umbrella there's a lot of things that I do. We don't have to do any one thing. And so I want to be really creative about it. And number one, launch that website. Two, write my book.
I'm so sorry, my cat.
On that. That's okay. Who's that? Is that
That's my kitty Ash.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. I am obsessed with cats. So
Oh yeah, he made a full booty appearance last time. So.
I just love it. He can make an appearance anytime, Ash.
Yeah.
So yeah, those that I really want to dig deeper into Queendom Collective and share with people about what that's all about. And it really is mainly about celebrating women and all the roles that we play. And
Mm,
so I want to do that through my business Queendom Collective. That will also include some speaking, some traveling.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, so I just want people to stay tuned and Of course, I will be asking for a lot of help and a lot of connections
Yeah.
because, like you said, in pageantry, all you have to do is ask, and there, those people are there. Those resources are there.
Yeah. One thing my grandmother used to say to me is always just ask. The worst thing someone can say to you is no. And I
Exactly.
live by that because it's gotten me gigs and roles and things that it might have not, by just asking. And if they say no, I'm just back where I was. There's no harm, no foul, right?
Exactly.
It, it's an opportunity to move forward. So I'm excited for that next part of your wildest dream and
Yes.
seeing where that comes, and very exciting. And so definitely viewers who are seeing this, make sure that you stay connected on that because it's going to be another great resource.
Oh, it's going to be such a fun journey. Oh, and Lee also said, so he has this casting company, and so
Mm,
casting is another fun thing that I can use my creative forces in. And so, there's a lot of partnerships that I'll be working on as well to do some of those creative endeavors, the acting, the bedazzling. I have this painting that's you guys can't see it, but it's this beautiful peacock. And I kid you not, I am going to bedazzle this
yeah.
painting with a lot of Swarovski crystals. So, yeah, all kinds of fun, creative stuff and dreams.
Yes, being that creative and having that output, I find, and it doesn't all have to be the same thing. Just find something that works for you as an output that you can feel good. I'm also a dancer, obviously, since I'm a choreographer. But there are other things I love I'm a big bejeweler. I love jewels on everything that I own. It's so great, and it's a nice pastime when you're just sitting and watching Netflix.
Yes.
Um, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I might be living in another country.
Hmm.
I've considered living outside of the United States, right? Like I, there's a lot going on here in the United States, and I'm not sure that I necessarily want to stay here. So I might be living in another country with my life
Hmm.
partner. I will be working on my company, Queen Collective,
Yeah.
and I really want to spend more time traveling. So I'm
Mm.
doing a lot more traveling and just connecting with the people that are just they're a part of my soul. So I'd love to spend more time with important people while they're here earthside. So yes, in 5 years, I'll be making those connections. I'll be traveling, working on my company, whatever that looks like, and likely living in a different country.
Yes, I also have those same goals to live in a different country. I think we see the way, things like colonization, things like, the status quo has taken over places like Canada and the United States in ways that a lot of people who are empaths are
Ooh,
feeling the push out, right? We're feeling
yep,
a calling elsewhere where our
yep,
hearts and our souls can also feel
yes,
good.
yes,
Um, Traveling is one of my highest recommendations. There is something in traveling that a textbook could never teach you, and I
yeah,
think that that's the culture and the community. Like you can read
yes,
about it, but
yes.
being in it, there's nothing better.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
I got the travel bug very young from my parents. I was so grateful that my parents took us on many trips. And it could be anywhere from like even historical trips, like visiting historical rest stops or presidential libraries or, learning a little bit more about our history that we don't learn in our textbooks because there are some certain people writing those textbooks. And so, but yeah, the world is such a big place. There's so much to see. There's so many people to meet, so many experiences to have. I absolutely feel it's necessary for an empathic soul to be able to be out in the big bowl. I'm a fish in a small bowl. I need the big
Yeah.
bowl.
You need the big bowl
I
full of
need the
that
ocean.
salty ocean water. Yes, need that ocean water. Oh, that's so good. I know it's so crazy how quickly an hour passes. I felt this on Tuesday as well. I feel like when it comes to, I don't know, it's just the universe bringing the right people together, I guess. I'm just always so outstandingly moved by y'all. I am a national queen myself, so I know exactly what type of effort it takes into working towards a title.
Yeah.
But I think what I've learned most, and any of the times I have won a crown, it's been because I went up there and I worked on me personally. I wasn't trying to prove someone else. I wasn't trying to, I was working through what I needed. And that almost allows your authentic, genuine version to come out, which I think I am pretty naturally. But I think
Yeah.
that when you're in queen mode, you also have to like come sometimes be on. So
Yeah.
I really just appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. And as you've spoken on, it takes so much practice. It is such a personal journey for each of us, and it's so important to have help along the way, because there's beautiful help and wonderful people that want us to succeed in our journey, but in our own authentic um, integrity, way of integrity, right? Like what we think, do, and say, like we want that to match for ourselves. Like we don't want so and so's version of what they think our journey should be. So yeah, it's important to connect with the right people so that you
Yeah.
can take your own authentic journey. And I'm just so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to meet you. I hope to meet you in person someday.
Yes, we
Will you be in Colorado?
will. I'm hoping to. I'm Yes, I'm hoping as long as all my health stuff is okay. I battle some other things, and that's a whole nother IG live. But, you know, there might be some folks who watch this that are, I've kind of like a part A and part B. Part A we'll start with, and that's if folks are interested in taking that leap towards NovaCosmo, what advice would you give them?
Reach out to one of us. Please do reach
Mm-hmm.
out to one of us because, we all have it. Like if you're drawn to any of us, right? We all have our own stories. Maybe you're drawn to one of my other sister queens and, you hear my journey, but you're not necessarily connected to me. Reach out to one of my sister queens and ask her, what her journey's been like. And then maybe you want to dig into the website and look at what it will take. But the website, you have to be the one to make the website jump off the page, right? You have to make the commitment. So I think part of making that commitment is reaching out to one of us so that we can answer any questions that you might have. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Take that first step and reach out to one of us. Tell us you're interested. Like it could just be as simple as that. We'll send you some information. And if you have any questions, we'll make sure that we do our best to answer them, or we have anybody on our NovaCosmo team that is capable of answering whatever questions you might have.
Amazing. And part B is if people want to stay connected with you, where can they find you? Where would you recommend them to go? Maybe even your platform.
Yes, so you can find me on I'm usually more on Facebook, but I know for the younger folks they're more on Instagram. So you notice that I don't post as much on Instagram, but you see that I'm under Elite Nova Cosmo Worldwide 2025, Andrea Bennett, that's me. So you can reach out to me on Instagram. I'm on Facebook under my name. I have several pages. Um, and one of those is a title holder page. And again, I'm not on that as much, but you can reach out to any of those pages and stay connected with me. And then I'm on TikTok, but I might be deleting that. Um, so yeah, I would recommend either Facebook or Instagram.
Amazing. That's wonderful. And then the last little thing I'm going to do with you is like a little rapid fire this or that, if you're okay with that.
Yes, please.
Okay, so with rapid fire, for anyone who doesn't know kind of this or that, there might be just like one question that you give a one word answer to, but I'm going to mostly keep it this or that. It's really the goal is to not think too much, just go with what your gut and your intuition tells you at first, even if it might be wrong. But it's no wrong answers.
I
All
don't think
right,
I've played this before. This is going to be fun.
this is going to be fun. So I'll give you an example for one. So it might be astronomy or astrology.
Ooh, you want me to answer that?
Sure.
Astronomy.
Love that. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, coffee or tea?
T.
Phone call or text?
Text.
Sneakers or heels?
Sneakers.
Manny or petty?
Oh, petty.
Ooh. Sometimes they
Oh,
get hard.
oh.
Sometimes they get hard. Okay. Mountains or beach?
Beach.
Okay. Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Rain or snow?
Rain.
See how I got that one? Everyone thinks I'm going to say sun, but
Not snow.
no.
We get so much snow.
Okay, I'll give you a couple more last ones. Great hair or great teeth?
Great teeth.
Stay up early or stay up late? Or sorry, get up early or stay up late?
Oh, that's a tough one, but I'll say stay up late.
Okay, book smarts or street smarts?
Book smarts.
Okay, and last but not least, save or spend?
Save.
Okay, I'd pick spend. If you give me money, I want to spend it. That's amazing. Great, great round. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I feel like I've learned so much from you and maybe even from your grandmother through this process
Oh
of
my gosh.
getting to know
On
you.
forever, couldn't we?
Yeah, I could definitely. And I just appreciate your willingness to be so open. The conversations when we're looking at domestic abuse and violence is not an easy topic.
No.
And your vulnerability, but met with your like care and compassion for others just speaks volumes, and it speaks to the bravery that you move through the days with. So thank you for sharing your story. I know it inspires me to share my story. There's more than we realize who are going through some of these situations in life, and it
Yeah.
it, it takes a lot of gusto to go up there and tell
Yeah.
your story.
A lot of introspection, you know,
Yes, love
because
that word.
a lot of times when we share, we're met with, well, I don't believe you. Or we're met with the most devastating part, which is more abuse, right? The people that
Mhm.
are standing behind and choosing the abuser versus the truth
Yeah,
and you know that you went through. So, yeah, it takes a lot. But the more of us that do it, the more of us that are connected, we're arm in arm all along the world, all around the world. We're looking for each other. We are here. And I just want people to know that, there are those of us out there who are here to help you, and we're wishing you the very best in life.
yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm going to remind you of two things that are a little like technical, not IG live fun, but that's just when this ends. There's a download option, so you'll just want to hit the download first because sometimes it doesn't post. So
No.
save the download and then hit share.
Okay.
And then following that, we'll have to just like do a collaboration so it can get on the Nova page. But that's some boring bureaucracy points.
This is part of my learning, y'all. This is
Yes.
part of my learning. So with the download, I do have a question. Thank you everybody for being here again. So with the download, will that be in? Is it like a three dot area, or where will I?
Yeah, when it comes up, this will be like a half page that kind of comes up and it says your live is now ended. And below that, it will say share, download, and something else.
Got it.
Download first, and then it will let you to share. The download will take a while because this is an hour long. So don't be like, oh, it's frozen.
Oh
It
no.
will, it may be like 5 minutes. It might just take a little bit and then hit post to share. It will ask you to put in like, oh my Lord, my head, a title and description,
Okay.
just as like a caption in there, but you can just put interview with Elite NovaCosmo Andrea, and we can update everything else later, post this. So
Thank
yeah, thank you
you.
everyone who attended. Thank you as well to Yeah Royal Fashion who had recommended this other way of us getting connected through the live, which worked
Thank you.
great. So thank you for that beautiful recommendation. I also learned something. Look at that. So brilliantly done. Thank you for being with me. If y'all need resources and stuff, we will ensure at some point that that gets into the caption once we organize ourselves into this so that people can go back and get solutions and resources of their toolkit to make them feel supported.
Yeah.
And like we said, reach out to us if you have any questions about Nova Cosmo and the upcoming internationals that will be in Bali in November. You let us know. You want to be there. You want to be there.
You know you
Um,
want to be there. You want to meet
you
us.
know,
You want to have fun.
yes. So I'm grateful for you. Thank you for spending your time with me and arranging all these different, schedules that we have to work between from all of us.
It's
So
amazing. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. All right, everyone. It is, I can't believe, wrapped. So thank you for your time. Thanks for everyone who joined. Thank you. Thank you, NovaCosmo team, Sharon, Swati, and Jyoti. We're so grateful for the women powerhouse team that hosts this pageant, and South Asian, which is so often that we're not seeing the representation of Black and Brown communities. So it's really
Oh,
dope to see it in them. And I'm really proud to be part of the Nova team. We're a whole family.
so
Whole
proud to
family.
be here. And like you said, representation. It's so important to show up.
Absolutely.
It's important to show up. We have to see ourselves reflected in our leadership and
Yeah.
just everywhere. That includes pageantry. So come and join us.
Yeah. Come and join us. I love
Come and
it.
join
Well,
us.
we'll end it there. Thank you, Andrea. We'll chat offline. Download, then share, and we'll work on everything else in the WhatsApp group together.
Sounds good.
All
Bye
right.
for joining us.
Bye. Thanks all. See you
Thank you.
later. Oh, you may have to end live as well.
Okay, so end now.
Yeah.
Okay.